Our 16th ride to the flags. Yeah, pretty good, not bad. We had a lot of hurdles along the way, but here we are, still rocking and rolling. I wanted to tell you a couple things about White Hart in general, talk to a few people on stage before the military takes up and has a really nice ceremony. This year we did not decide to choose a veteran to support. In previous years, we pinpoint one veteran that needs, either some type of adaptive equipment or something like that to be able to help them. That got very difficult. Sometimes these veterans would need housing adaptations, which made us contractors. Sometimes they needed transportation or something of the sort. And when we would be able to help support by gathering all of the resources that you guys were able to help with, we would either be way above that or under that, and it was just getting very, very difficult. And there's another story that kind of made us shift gears a little bit and give to our Guardian project. And that was in 2015 or 16 or so, we were supporting a veteran named Artem, and he's a triple amputee, and he needed a all-terrain track vehicle. If you know what those are, they're like tank wheelchairs, so that you can go in shallow water and sand and in the woods and all terrain, if you would. It helps with their mobility. So I was talking with Artem, and we were getting the whole chair situated with what he wanted it to be adapted for, with like a rifle holder or a fishing pole holder and that kind of stuff. And a week later, I got a phone call from a friend and said, "Hey, has that chair been made for Artem yet?" And I said, "Well, not yet. It takes a while to make them, but we put the deposit down, and we're just, maybe a month or so." And he said, "Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore because Artem just took his own life." And I was like, "Man, I just talked to the guy like last week. How could that happen? That seems like way too close. I couldn't tell there was anything wrong. I don't know how I'd be able to tell if there's anything wrong, but he seemed like he was in good spirits." And it was at that point that we realized that the transportation and adaptive transportation is great. All of the equipment that we can provide a veteran is great. It's all good stuff. Housing adaptations, all good stuff. But none of it matters if you're not mentally well. So we can give a veteran as much as we possibly can give them, but we can't give them the tools to kind of crawl out of a dark time, that we're not doing what we need to do. So at the very base level, we kind of decided to shift White Hart to being more of a mental health charity. We haven't really said that much right now. I'm telling you here right now, that's what we're doing. And I know that we've had a large impact of a lot of our veterans. We have about 30 to 36 veterans that have our logo tattooed on their body somewhere because they have gone through our program, and it helped them so much that they actually put a permanent mark on them for what we do. So I know that what we're doing here, and what we've done through White Hart has a very large impact. Of course, White Hart Foundation never would have been the White Hart Foundation if it weren't for the Ride to the Flags. That started first. And it was with all of you that we started the White Hart Foundation, and now we've done some really, really great work for our veterans. So hands to you guys for doing that. Thank you. Jed, you want to come up real quick and say a few things about the Guardian Project? You guys probably remember Jed. Jed was one of our recipients to the Ride of the Flags, and now he runs the Guardian Project. You want to say a few things about what we're doing now and how that's grown over the years?
Yeah, so as Ryan said, the focus needs to be on veterans' mental and emotional health first and foremost, and then from there you can, have a solid foundation you can build upon. But we started out in 2016 with our first trip out in Wyoming, pretty small, and since then we've grown to this upcoming year, hopefully 5 or 6 trips with roughly 10 veterans per trip. And on these trips, we offer them, we do some fun activities. We do whitewater rafting, rock climbing, those sorts of things. But at the end of the day is where the real magic happens. And we give them classes around a campfire with a small group of like-minded veterans. We teach them some skills on how to navigate life through things like anger, depression, anxiety. Things that we all go through, but oftentimes, especially when you've gone through trauma, it's hard to really figure out how to handle those situations. So we give them some tools, and then really just try to build community again. After leaving the military, you lose that sense of community, that sense of purpose is gone. So really trying to build community again and giving them a new sense of purpose that they can fall back on and work towards. So that's really what the Guardian product has been focusing on.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions about that program, Jed's obviously going to be here and be down at the rally. It's something that we've been building over the years that has been, last year we actually got funded by the VA. The VA gave us a small chunk of money, realizing that we could do this better than they could. So, so that worked out well. But yeah, so we know we're building upon something really good. We've seen all of the all the progress that we've made with our veterans, and we think this is the next big step for White Hart. So stay tuned for that. But I'm sure we're going to be doing some more good things ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you all so much for coming out.
Thank you. I'm going to pass it over to Keep it up on this page. Real quick, I want to recognize Colonel Lashinsky. He is you can come over here and grab a mic real quick. It's going to take us 2 seconds, dude. We're good. He runs the Pep Vets at Pepperdine. That's where I went to school. And Pepperdine is now really trying to boost their veteran program and their veteran attendance and everything else. Tell us about that.
Yeah, but first, just good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. A big thanks to the base and the military folks here. These kind of events, right, don't just happen. It's a lot of planning, a lot of work on top of everything else you do for your day job and night school and everything else you're doing. But yeah, Eric Lashinsky, Director of Student Veteran Affairs at Pepperdine. We do claim Ryan as an alum. But if you didn't know, Pepperdine is just down the road, right? You guys are going to drive there today. This event certainly has a genesis at Pepperdine, and Pepperdine is proud of that, and I'm proud to be here. I represent about 500 military-connected students that go to Pepperdine's 5 schools. That includes about 300 veterans and 200 spouses and family members of veterans and active duty service members, which, as you all know, they serve as well. So I appreciate it. It's great being here. I'm glad my wife Kimberly's here. I drug her through 27 years of active military service. We were stationed in California 3 times, Travis Air Force Base, Monterey Bay at the Naval Postgraduate School, which was pretty Gucci at the time. And then I suffered out at Edwards Air Force Base as the Mission Support Group Commander out in the Brown Valley, which I still have a heart for. Luckily, we had the golf course out there, which all us Air Force folks love. It was the only green part of Edwards, but what a great American tradition of Edwards Air Force Base and the great things Americans are doing there, not just military types, but great civilians caring about our country and its strength. So last thing, just a bit of trivia. I'm not riding a motorcycle today, but I do know how to ride. So please, don't laugh at me later. Okay. Thank you, and thanks for this opportunity. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. You want to chat some? So Kirsty's going to have a little bit of a speech, and it is what it is. But to really get to know her, we should come up and have a little bit of a conversation. Yay? All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome, Kirsty.
Hi, guys.
There's so much to ask you about that I'm sure you're not going to cover in a speech. So let's start with Everest. You have climbed Mount Everest more than once, or what's the story there? And also why?
So I've been out that way twice. So when I first started climbing mountains was back in 2017. And I realized that I could, tether 2 things together. Like, obviously suffering well, I'm pretty good at that. But then also I could do humanitarian efforts behind all of that. So just helping people in a different way than I was used to in the Marine Corps. And I committed to doing what's called the 7 summits, so climbing the highest peak on each of the 7 continents. And I've been successful on 6 of the 7. And unfortunately, I will be going back to Everest in 2024. But,
wow. Did you not make it to the top?
Both times I've been out there, I have turned around 600 feet from the summit. Tell me about it.
Can't you just run out there real quick and take a selfie or something, or what?
Right, yeah. Can you fly me to the top? Help.
No, wait, 600 feet. Why couldn't you go the rest of the 600?
The first time was actually my climbing partners ran out of oxygen.
That's a chance I'm willing to take. You've
See ya.
gone that far.
And then the second time, it was just a self-preservation thing. You know, when I was out there in 2019, there was no one out there. It was me and my climbing partners. This time around, there were hundreds of people in front of us and behind us. People were running through like 11 bottles of oxygen. Like hands and feet were freezing off. I don't have a lot more to lose, so I wasn't willing to risk that part. But yeah, just self-preservation and taking care of, my team.
All right, that's fair.
Kind of nice.
You know what's better than climbing Mount Everest is not climbing Mount Everest. Sounds like a nightmare.
Might be a little more comfortable, yeah.
Yeah. You also won the Pat Tillman ESPY Award.
I did.
That's kind of cool. How was that experience?
Pretty surreal, to be honest.
Do you walk around with it?
I should. Yeah, just my backpack.
Yeah.
No, it's one of those awards that I don't think I'll ever really feel like I truly deserve. Like that's walking in like a legend's footsteps, but it's something, definitely one of my highest honors. Very, very proud to have been recognized for that, and something that, I think we don't stop serving once we get out of the Marine Corps. I'm sure there's plenty of veterans out here. Like once we get our DD-214, it doesn't mean we stop. We continue showing up for one another. So, yeah, it was quite the honor.
I was also going to ask you about the ESPN Body magazine, but
We can skip that.
okay. Just wondering how awkward that photo shoot was.
Very.
All right. Did you say very? Yeah, I imagine. All right. So what are you up to now? You live in Colorado now,
I do.
and you are running also camps for other amputee, who want to climb, or are they just being introduced to climbing, or?
All sorts of different things. So back in 2018, I actually started my own nonprofit. It's a real original name, the Kirstianis Foundation. But it was my way of being able to give back and pay it forward to those communities that that are closest to my heart. So differently abled, veterans, women who just want to get out there and start exploring and climbing and learning a new skill set. And it's a labor of love. It's something that I'm not paid for. It's just, trying to give back and still be of service.
What's next for you?
Besides Everest again?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's good enough. I think we probably could lift it with that. All right.
Ouch.
You got 600 more feet to go when you get there, so we're pulling for you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, who's now? Hooter, let's do a quick ride meeting before I get into other White Hart stuff, just so we have everyone's attention, because things are a tad different this year, but not much. Essentially, as you can imagine, every portion of this event is actually very expensive, and we don't talk about that because it's you don't want to know how the hot dogs are made, so we just don't talk about it. However, I will say we could not do this event without a handful of individuals or partners that we have here today. One of them being obviously the Russ Brown motorcycle attorneys back over there. Wendy and Chuck Hurrow have been so great to us, and they're used to being a part of much larger events than we are, but they love what we're doing here and see the impact that we're having. They've been with White Hart from the start, and so they do help us when it comes to having to afford some of these street closures. So thank you guys back there in the tent for doing what you do for us and for everyone else. And Rick Joyce is here. I know he is. That guy's been awesome. I don't know where he's at, but he's back. Rick, thanks, bud. We try to keep you a little bit anonymous, but not when I say your name on the microphone. But thanks for everything you've done for us over the years. This is absolutely not possible without you. And lastly, My American Legion. I'm a Sons member of Post 283. They came through for us in a big way this year. I don't know if there's anyone from that post that's here today. I think a couple of them were going to try to come, but if you are, let's definitely talk afterwards. I appreciate everything that the Legion does, and I know you're a member of the Legion Riders, and I know we have a lot of ALR guys here today, so just know that the Legion does a lot of good work. The 283 is down in Pacific Palisades is one of the most charitable ones in the nation, and they support a lot of great programs. So I'm happy that they're a partner with us now. So having said that, we were talking about the immense cost that we have to bear for stuff like this, and I'll let you take over from here, Hooter, about what we have to do now when we go for parking, which is actually much better, I think, in my mind.
Yep. Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Hello, everybody. It's kind of nice to be back. I took 9 years off, and then Ryan called me and said, get your butt back here. And so, hello, I'm back. So the ride, a couple of things just of importance is this year to save a ton of money. In one of our chats, we said, we're only pulling in 400 bikes, 450 bikes. Why are we shutting the entire intersection down in Malibu? And so we have decided this year to give it an experiment, and we really need your help to pull this off, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to pull into Bluffs Park, and we're all going to go right. We're going to go into Bluffs Park. You're going to have some people frantically trying to get you guys parked. Try to follow their instructions. The people that are up front are going to be pushed back. Don't try to get the prime spots. Just do the best you can to get yourself in, park nice and tight, and let's pull this off. It's worth thousands of dollars to the veterans.
That's very true.
That's thousands of dollars to veterans, and that's what we're all here for, right? That's why I flew down from Washington State for this event, is for the veterans. So, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, so we're not taking a left on Malibu Canyon Road anymore. We're all going into the park, so we're going to leave that lane open. We're not shutting down that intersection. Obviously, the sheriff's going to be there, probably shut it down anyway, but we're not going to worry about parking and reserving parking on Malibu Canyon Road. The amount of red tape that's involved in just taking that left-hand turn, so we can skip that.
Yeah, so don't get frustrated. Be patient. We're out here to have fun. Things never go quite as planned, so just put the chill motion in your spirit and keep your eye on the ball, and we'll have a good time. Be a good ride. Follow the police. We got to stay in the right hand lane when we're out there. I'm going to try to convince them to go a little faster than last year, just let's do the best we can. Have a good time.
So if you guys remember Hooter, so in year one, I had called the Patriot Guard and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this motorcycle ride. And they put me in touch with Hooter, and I was like, this guy's name's Hooter? Okay. Sure enough, it worked out really well. We ended up having a spectacular, great ride from the Reagan Library, and it's worked out ever since. And I was 25 then. I'm 40 now, so I'm old like you guys. It's been good. So I'm glad, Hooter, that you're back here, and we can make this work again like old times, year 16. Cool. All right, buddy. Thank you. Last thing I want to say, I'm sure there's a bunch of things I want to say, but last thing I definitely want to say is that, to my knowledge, and you guys can correct me later if I'm wrong, but this is the only motorcycle ride that originates from a military installation in the United States. Now, I know that Semper Fi Fund had one at Camp Pendleton. It was like the Injured Veteran Run. I don't believe that one's happening anymore, but it is a really rare opportunity for us to be able to be a part of something as big as what we're seeing right here. And it's super rare. It's very, very rare. And now that we've been doing it here at this installation for over a decade, hopefully there's no signs of it stopping. I just want you guys to know and be appreciative of this base here and everything that they've done to invite us on and take us on here so we can be a part of their 9/11 ceremony, which allows us really to have a staging point for the Ride to the Flags, which is the catalyst of us doing so much good. The Ride to the Flags has raised over $1 million since we started, and none of this would ever be possible if we didn't have a place to start. If we didn't have a place to start here, who knows where we'd be. So thank you guys for everything that you've done for us and helping us memorialize. With that being said, my time here is done. I will see you guys on the road later and then back in Malibu. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to say about Malibu. You get this wrist tab here on your wristband. Put that in the bucket on your way in. You could win Brad Paisley tickets next Sunday if you're free. So that's all I got. The end.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, in the audience as well as those viewing via Facebook live stream. I'm your Master of Ceremony, CS1 Nikeel Lawson. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Naval Base Ventura County's 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony. At this time, we ask that you all please rise for the singing of the national anthem and remain standing for the parading of colors and the invocation. Color guard, parade the colors.
Oh, sing, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Color guards, retire the colors.
Ready, two. Right, face. Forward, march. Left. 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 Color guard. Up.
At this time, I would like to dedicate a moment of silence for all the victims of the terrorist attack that happened over 22 years ago. We shall never forget. Thank you. Now, Chaplain Rivera will present the invocation.
Let us pray. O Heavenly Father, O Lord our God, who art thyself the hope of the hopeless, the help of the helpless, the Savior of the storm-tossed, the haven of the voyager, the physician of the sick, the great healer. Be all things to our land, which 22 years ago on this day was devastated by the cowardly and hateful acts of false martyrs who imitated wicked Herod in his slaughter of the innocents. To those who lost loved ones, grant the comfort thou didst impart to Mary and Martha before thou didst raise their brother Lazarus from the dead, and care for them as thou didst care for thy mother from the cross. To the survivors, grant healing in every sense, as thou didst strengthen and heal the confessors. To those related to and aiding the survivors and the families of the fallen, grant them strength and compassion as thou didst instill in thine adopted father Joseph. To those who died, grant remission of their every sin in thy great compassion, both to those who, like the wise servant and wise maidens, who constantly prepare themselves to enter the heavenly banquet any hour, as well as those who emulated the rich fool, preferring to enjoy earthly pursuits and ignore heavenly ones. To us grant the knowledge that while the devil may still manipulate our divinely freely given will, that his power is fleeting and ultimately void, for thou hast already crushed his dominion. And for those who hate us, speak to their hearts. Lord, we ask that you soften their hearts, those who seek our destruction, and spare, O Lord, those who protect us, the law enforcement, the military, the first responders. Spare them from every despondency, disillusionment, and all things which would undermine their righteous calling to protect us as guardian angels, as good Samaritans. All this we ask thee for our all-powerful and all-loving Savior, giving glory to thee together with thine unoriginate Father and thine all-holy and good and life-giving and comforting Spirit, now and ever, and unto ages of ages. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Will the guests please be seated? Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce you this morning the Commanding Officer of Naval Base Ventura County, Captain Robert Kimnock.
Thank you, and welcome again to everyone here this morning at a beautiful morning here at Naval Base Ventura County. So proud to have this event again this year. This is my personal third year here hosting it, and we will for sure be continuing these into the indefinite future as we look forward to this. Yeah, there you go. Standing Yeah, if you remember last year, we dodged a little weather, and this year we did too. So Mother Nature's been very kind to us. Maybe Chaps has something to do with that. So thanks. And as always, Chaplain, very inspirational and high energy prayer there. So thank you. A lot of folks went into putting this together, right? A lot behind the scenes. Our award-winning color guard. You guys are awesome as usual. You're going to see our rifle team here in a little bit. Of course, the White Heart Foundation. Ryan, can't thank you enough for all the coordination and energy that you and your team put into this. We are the hosts of this, but we certainly could not do it without White Heart and everything they do to really pull this all together so that we can open our gates for everybody. So thanks, Ryan. And to Chris Kenefick, he's back there somewhere on the radio coordinating that awesome flyover and the flyover team. Appreciate all the work you do on this as well. The timing always seems to be just perfect every year, and that's not easy to do for a flyover. So great job, mate. For Kirstie Ennis, who I appreciate your words and everything you've done. You're an amazing woman, and you can sing too. So that's pretty freaking awesome. So thank you for that. On the base team, behind the scenes here, we had Chief Alexander, our first class Petty Officers Association. A lot of our first class active duty Navy folks put this together, put a lot of work into it. They've been planning it for a while. You know, everything from stage and chairs and porta potties and coordination. Great job by all of you. Then of course our security team, our MAs, and our Department of the Navy officers. It's a busy day for them, right? Checking everyone in, and thanks for everyone's patience out there, getting checked in properly, making sure we're keeping everyone safe today, and a great job by our security folks. And then of course our Fed Fire, right? We got our stack displays here. Chief Wambler and team here today. Really appreciate you all supporting this event, and this is of course an important remembrance for our firefighters as well, who when everyone else is running out of a falling building, they are running in. So thank you to our Fed Fire, and we will continue to remember everyone we lost that day on the Fed Fire side. We all have a story about September 11th, 2001, right? At least all of us who are old enough and we're alive to remember. Just about everybody can tell you where they were that day. They can tell you who they were with. They can tell you what they were watching when they saw it on the news. The shocking, unbelievable thing that we never thought we'd see. And I told my story 2 years ago, my first event here, about when I was a young helicopter pilot. I was deployed, and shortly after, on September 11th, and shortly after that, we were launching strikes and supporting strikes into Afghanistan. So I'm not going to tell that story again today. Today we have someone else to tell their story. So Mr. Bill Forrestal, Lieutenant Commander retired, is here with us. He's part of our Navy security team, important part of the security forces here at Naval Base Ventura County.